Hey guys, before we continue on with the video, I want to remind everybody the content creator program is still going on for 6 more days. All right, guys. So 6 codes, maybe 7 at this point, are still going to be active. So make sure you guys do click that support button, get yourself those codes. And remember, guys, new season is coming. So you're going to need to go into my support section when you log in. There's going to be an extend support button. You're going to have to click that. And then when you click that, it'll ask you to extend the support. Click that extend button. You guys will see it'll say support extension successful, which means next season going forward, you will not miss any codes. You have to do this or else you guys will not be getting any codes any further. Remember, guys, there's giveaways. There's things on the Discord you should join. I'm going to be doing about $400 or $500 worth of giveaways for all supporters. So make sure you're around and make sure you guys click that support button and extend, or else you will be missing out on a lot of amazing codes. All right, folks, let's go on with the video. What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another SLA video. That's right. Beard's gone. I promise you guys for a week you wouldn't see a beard. It will come back, I promise. I know some of you guys think this is weird, but hey, you know what? At least I look 10 years younger and a whole different person. So thank you so much, guys, for joining the video as usual. I get a common question very, very often, and that is, Payne, what are the best cores for the hunters and SJW? So we're going to go through every single tier list, guys, today for every single hunter that is an SSR hunter, including SJW, and give you guys the best possible cores and some backup cores in case you need them. I am not going to talk about stats because stats will differ. I'll mention them here and there, but we'll do mostly the best possible cores out. Now, there are 4 sets of cores out there, okay? There's the Nameless Demon set, there's the Ancient Wrath set, there's the Crimson Apex set, and there's the Watcher set. So those 4 are the ones that drop. Now, Vulcan and Baron drop the Ancient Wrath and the Nameless Demon. I'm trying to remember them all in my head. It's a good test for me to remember. These are right here. And then these ones over here, of course, drop from Deimos. And we're going to get a whole new set of cores coming in, of course, with Yogamont. Now, I will talk about this for now. This will change when Yogamont does drop. But I do want to refer back to these so some of you guys can understand what each one does. For example, this one increases core damage, crit damage for cores by 20%, for example. Limbs of the Watcher increases defense, while the Apex one increases defense by MP versus HP, etc. Right? So we're going to refer to these a couple times just so you make some sense to you guys and you guys can understand what each core does, because I know while we're going through this video some of you will forget. So now, of course, I already talked about this in the beginning, guys. Don't forget the support program is ending in about 3 days for this season. If you have not done so already, go support right now. If you have already supported, extend that support so I can send you guys more codes. I'll be sending one more batch of these codes a couple times a day just so everybody gets a chance to get them. So guys, click that support button, get yourself in before it's over and the new season starts. And if you are supporting, I want to say a big shout out and thank you to everybody, of course, all the way down to the 10,699. So shout out to Jsto, Patches, 482, 046, 618, Lucy Bond, 906, 253, 170, and everybody else, of course, along the way. Remember, there's money to be given away on the Discord, so please join the Discord as well. Get yourself the supporter role and get yourself a chance to win some money for free. I want to say a big shout out to Jsto, who's going to be #1 again this season. I've offered him $200. He said, Payne, take that money, donate it to somebody on my behalf, and I'm going to be doing that live again. Last time we did it for CHO Hospital. We'll probably do that again one more time. All right, now let's go to the tier list. Here is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to go through each single one of these. I'm going to give you the best cores and the backup cores. Again, I will mention some stats in between that you're looking for, but that's going to be solely up to what you are looking to do and which boss, okay? That's the honest truth. So let's start off with SJW, the man himself. All right, so the best cores for him are pretty straightforward. There's really not much wiggle room for this. It's going to be the Ancient Wrath here. And again, just so you guys are aware, Ancient's Wrath gives you a 5% increase in your attack. And then, of course, that's if you have the SJW logo on top of there. Very easy. There's no conditions. Just equip it. You're good to go. Ideally for here, you want to go crit rate, crit damage, damage increase, depending on what you're looking for, of course, in those fields and what you lack, right? So that'll be the first attack core. Now the second core over here, this one is a little bit up in the air based on what you want to do, but most of the time you guys are all going to go for the defensive one, okay? And what I mean by this one is the one, sorry, defensive one, sorry, the ultimate one where you get a shield, and that's going to be this one here called the Nameless Demon's Horn. Again, I'm just alluding to it so you guys can see. When a user casts their ultimate skill, it grants a shield equal to 10% of their max HP for 8 seconds. That's usually the one most people will go to. And then the third one, this is where it's up to you what you want to do with him, right? Most of you guys for attack units are going to stick with this. This is the Teeth of the Watcher. And I'll just go to it again just to show you guys what it does. We won't refer to these all day, but this one decreases the MP recovery rate, but also reduces the skill MP consumption by 12%. That's another option. Realistically, there really isn't that many backups for SJW. This right now, in my opinion, is the best. And of course, if you want to give me your opinion on the comment section, let me know, but this is what I run. It's never really changed. It's done really well for me. And honestly, I think you'd be doing a disservice if you go with the backup with him. So that's what you want to focus on. Now let's switch gears a little bit. We'll go from SJW to somebody else who's a lot more popular for the hunters, probably the most popular hunter I'd say currently at right now, and that's KANAE. Now she works a little bit differently, even though she is an attack unit. Now, because of the way she functions with her skills being considered ultimates rather than just basic attacks or basic skills, you actually want to run her a little bit differently. And she's actually one of the most unique characters to put cores on. So first off, this is going to now be your backup. As a matter of fact, it's actually pretty bad because she doesn't scale with attack really well because she has such high attack already and there's a lot of diminishing return. As a matter of fact, what you actually want to put for her for the most part is going to be this right here. This is going to be the Nameless Demons. I forgot the name, so I'm going to have to go back and refer to the game again. But this one here essentially gives you guys more crit damage every time you do an ult. Now, why do you want to use that? Again, KANAE functions differently, right? This is Nameless Demons Deception. That's it. So whenever you're using your ultimate skill, the user's crit damage increased by 20% for 8 seconds. You can see there's no cooldown for this, which means every time she casts her skill twice, 3 times even, every single time she'll get this buff, right? So it's going to give her the crit damage she needs to do even more damage. So this is going to be your go-to every single time. This should always be your go-to. Now the second one here, the shield one, is going to maintain. You're not going to change that. Again, she's casting ultimate so often, she's going to continue getting that, right? Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. The last one, okay? Now this one here is probably the most popular. You can go with this one as well too if you want to, but another really, really popular one, believe it or not, is this one here. So it's between these two here as your backup, or not as your backup, as your main. The reason why the Magisphere works so well is because when the user uses their ultimate skill, it recovers MP equal to 5% of their MP, but there is a cooldown of 20 seconds, right? So depending on how you do your MP management and MP reduction, you're better off going with either the Teeth of the Watcher or you're better off going with the Magisphere. Even with that 20-second cooldown, it can recover quite a bit of your MP. And then the last one, of course, was mentioned, is this one here, but this is probably the worst one. So when you're looking at her cores, realistically, there's no backup middle core here. You're just focusing on the ones I mentioned, and it's important to note that these ones here are the most popular. I'd even put this as a backup, to be honest, and that would be your choice between these two. I'd say this one I wouldn't put this as a backup. As a matter of fact, I'd go with these ones as either main or backup. It's your call. But that's KANAE. She works a little bit differently, of course, so that's how you want to work with her, right? I'm going to go ahead and put her down now. Now let's go for someone else a little bit different. Let's go with someone like Thomas, right? Thomas Andre is another very popular character that many people will be talking about and using. Now, a couple different choices you have with him. We're going to take this completely out. It's useless there. And we're going to go ahead and put this one in the bottom. Now, because he does cast his ultimate fairly often, you can use this to give him more crit damage, but ideally the main one you want to focus on is actually going to be this one here, which is going to give your core attack 20% more crit. Because you do core attacks practically every second skill and it happens on a very regular basis, this is going to be the best one for him. Backup is going to be, of course, the ultimate with a shield, because you definitely want the shield because he scales off of shields with more damage, of course, and he does his ultimate so often that shield's going to pop up very often, and this one will remain the same here as well too. Now, just like as a backup, as I mentioned, if you do want more crit damage overall for your skills, you can use this because he does ultimate so often. You can use this one as a backup. And your other backup here is actually going to depend on your MP management, right? There's two different defensive ones. There's one where you increase defense by 6% when using MP, or losing your MP by 5%, or 50%, sorry. And then there's another one here that if you have 70% HP or higher, you get 6% defense. Now, this one's not that bad. Neither of them are that bad, but I find the Nameless Demon's Horn still be the best one because, of course, the way he scales off shield. Now, for the new CHA, that might be a little bit different, but for Thomas, I'd say it's there. But for the sake of giving you backups, it again depends on your MP management. You can, in fact, go either or of these to give you guys a little bit of the backup you need for your overall defense, right? In case you want to lose the HP or the MP, or if you have bad MP management, that might work. So there you guys go. That's Thomas Andre. Now I'm going to put GUNHEE in here as well too, just because GUNHEE is actually fairly popular in regards to that's very similar lineup for him. So we're going to throw GUNHEE right up here. He's going to run the exact same setup, guys. Exact same. Really no difference for him. You can, of course, remove this again. He has really good MP management, so I wouldn't worry about that. And it's really hard to get him below 70% HP. So these are hard to justify, but these right here are definitely going to be his go-tos. And as well, just so you guys have this on the back of your pocket, there's another one that uses CORES quite a bit, and that's going to be ALICIA. So ALICIA can, in fact, use this, or she can use this one here as well. So I'd say this is her backup. right here. And because her core attack is so strong, Alicia would actually run off of this as well too. The exact same lineup here. And whenever she has a shield, remember, she gets crit hit rate and crit hit damage increase from her A1. So you definitely want the shield there, and you want that MP management as well too. So all this here is probably going to work the exact same way. I would take these away, of course, for her, as the defense doesn't really matter. But this right here would be the setup I'd go with this one always being your go-to middle one over all of them. All right, that's essentially the setup right there for Alicia as well. Again, a lot of core units are going to function this way and not change too much. Another one here that's going to be very similar to that is going to be Charlotte. We're going to take the core attack out of Charlotte's pocket here. We'll take this one out as well. We're going to just add this right here, which increases all of her crit damage and crit damage skills every time she does her ultimate. This is what you want to always run on her. Same thing with the MP again. You definitely want to have that MP management for her. And because she's defense spec, you can have, of course, the option of these two as your backups. And then this right here. Now, does she have a main backup? Honestly, not really. You could put her core there, but she's not really a core unit, right? So you're not really going to use that very often. You could use this attack one, but again, she doesn't scale off attack, so it's useless, right? So again, this is what you want to run for her for sure. All right, so that's going to be Alicia right there. Sorry, Alicia, and that's Charlotte. I think that pretty much takes care of the main core people I wanted to talk about in terms of core attack and everything else in ultimates, right? Now let's go to SM BAEK. Now SM BAEK, very straightforward here, okay? You don't want to run the ultimate one. This is not even going to be a backup. You just want to run the attack one. Attack is the best for him. Again, whenever he casts his ultimate, do the shield. Now you can, hear me out, you can use the damage reduction one if you think it's viable for you right over here. You can. He does get a lot of, he does get beat up quite a bit when you're losing the shield, but you definitely want a shield. So again, I'll put that as a backup for him. I wouldn't recommend using it at all, but if you really desperately need one, that's the backup. But this right here, I wouldn't change this any further than it is. This is probably the best setup for him. And and honestly, a lot of his attacks come from basic attacks. So you don't even need technically this. You could probably give him something else, but I still think out of all of them, this is still the best one to go with. So that's going to be SM BAEK right there for CORES. Now let's go over to HYUN. HYUN, I'd say this is still probably the best lineup for her as well. She doesn't really base her attacks off core. She does need a lot of defense pen. None of them give defense pen, so you can use that as a stat, of course, on there. And I think this is the way you want to go with her. I would even take this out. This is even useless. So, yeah, honestly, I don't even think she needs a backup. I think this is it. This is as far as you need to go with her. You could give her this one as a backup in case you want to recover that MP quickly rather than over time. But I don't see anything else changing for her. So there's HYUN for you guys right there. SM BAEK we did already. Sorry, let me put this back here. Let's go with CHOI. CHOI's easy, right? Crit. Oh, sorry, no crit. Doesn't crit at all. We wish he crits. But we definitely want to have attack on him. Whenever he does his ultimate, gets a shield. This one over here you can use as well too. Or if you don't want to use the basic attack ones, he actually does work really well with Magisphere as well. I put that as a backup for him. Probably the best backup he can have. And that one will give him MP recovery every 20 seconds whenever he does his ultimate. He does his ultimate at 85 very, very often. So that's the way you want to set up for him. Now, if you, depending on your MP management or not, you could, of course, use one of the other ones. Like, for example, if you have low MP, you could use this one here, which I think when you go below 50% MP, was it? Yeah, 50% of P, you get 6% attack. But again, it's one of those ones where you have to remember that there's a condition involved, right? And that condition can screw you over. So just keep that in mind. So I wouldn't even recommend using it, but I'll put it as a backup in case somebody wants it. All right. So there's CHOI, pretty straightforward there. Let's go with BAEK, I guess. All right. So BAEK's interesting. He's interesting because he doesn't do his core attack very often. He doesn't do his ultimate very often. And quite honestly, he's a defense spec unit. So because you can lose some HP on there, it's your choice. You can either cast an ultimate whenever you need to, or yeah, this one's a tough one, right? Ultimate, or you can do core attack. Really nothing else matters here. And again, you want the shield for him for sure. Unless you are looking for increasing his defense, then you can for sure give him the defensive HP one. I think that's a better option than MP. And then run this as well too. We're going to remove this completely. And again, you can have the backup version of this, which is, lose HP instead of MP. So below 70% to get that. And then the Magisphere for his ultimate. I don't even think it's worthwhile, to be honest. You might want to pull this one off. All right, so those are his best options. Again, I think the shield is more important. I'll put the core here as well. This is probably his go-tos. I don't see that changing. If you use BAEK, that's probably the way you want to go. All right. Now let's go to next. Speaking of GOTO. I'd say probably this is the setup you want to go with. I don't really see much of a difference here. He's horrible for MP management, so you definitely want this. He does have a fairly decent core attack, so you could use this. But again, I honestly wouldn't. He's not defense spec, so none of these matter really. So I would do this or the MP recovery based on his ultimate. But again, his ultimate doesn't get cast that often, so this is your best option for GOTO RYUJI. Okay, so we're going to take him out there, put him in. Hansimi. Hansimi is interesting. She does get her core attack fairly quickly, so you could use this core one if you want to as a backup. I would still stick with the ultimate one, but again, really not benefiting from this too much because it's crit damage. You're not really relying on crit, so you might be better off using this. Put this in the backup. She's HP scaling, so the shield is definitely worthwhile having. MP management for sure, but she also recovers MP, so not that big of a deal. And the crazy thing is there's no HP cores, right? So I can imagine Yogamon giving us some HP cores, but I would say this is right about where you want to be for her. The same thing is actually going to fall in line for MEILIN. Where is MEILIN? There she is. Exact same thing. Again, core attack can be there. Ultimate, most likely you're going to use the ultimate one over the core attack, but that could be your backup because she does do ultimates fairly often. I mean, the same amount as Hansimi, but if you can use a different set to cast more MEILINs because MEILINs actually has a big impact on what she does with her ultimate that is giving you a ton of buff. So I would say that's probably the best setup there for her. And the same thing goes for, I'd probably say Emma even. I'm trying to think of Emma. Emma's core attack's not bad, so you can also put that in there. But again, same options here for Emma. I would say this is not going to change very much for Emma as well too. So keep that in line there. And then AKARI, I believe, also will work exactly the same way off of this exact same spec. I would even take the core one off for AKARI. I don't even think she even needs that, to be honest. So I would say these ones here will work really well for her. And then lastly, I believe HARPER is going to work very well with this. So where's HARPER here? Let's see. Put AKARI on the back. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to find all my units here. They're just kind of a little bit jumbled. I know she exists. Where's she? Oh, there she is. Literally right in front. Okay, there you guys go. Her core attack is not bad, though. So you could use her core attack a little bit more. I'd say probably this is the best setup. You could technically argue that might work even better for her. But I think for sure that one of these two should be in front. Again, HP specs don't really work very well with anything else. So Harper's there as well. Oh, and I forgot about Sa. I forgot about my ex-wife. I guess SEORIN as well, too. SEORIN and Sa will work this exact same spot here. Exact same layout. I wouldn't change this. You know what? Actually, I take that back. You could technically do, she does a lot of core attack. So you give her a core attack even more damage by doing this. Arguably, you can go 1 and 2, your choice there. I'd say this is probably more prominent though. So this is probably a better setup for her. And then also for Sa, quite honestly, could be arguably the same setup for her here as well, right? You guys can see right there, I'd go with that as well too. Again, these are all HP scaling units, guys. So this is going to be important to remember. Min is another one that's HP scaling. I would actually swap these two out though. Actually, core is not even required for him. You don't want to go with anything but this. And this is important for Min because when he casts this ultimate, his crit damage goes up. And then obviously he might be able to, I don't know if he actually shares that crit damage buff with the other unit. It might be just his base, but either way, this doesn't change at all for him. So Min is also going to be there. Who else do we have off of HP here? I'm just trying to think here, guys. Isla technically could use this exact same setup as well. She could use these defensive ones as backup as well too. You definitely want the shield on her, but these defensive ones here, of course, will increase her defense, which gives her better damage output, but that's not really the big deal here. You probably want to go with this. This is probably the best one for Isla as well. You guys can see it's not changing much, right? Majority of units will use this setup, and it's important to note that this setup is actually works really, really well for most units. We did KANAE already. I think DONGSO, I think the only thing I would add here is you could do this one as a core. Actually, I would probably put that first, to be honest. I'd probably do his core more often than his other stuff. But this right here would be DONGSO's setup. If you ever use him, I mean, there's your setup there for him. And then ESIL is going to work a little differently. So ESIL, we're going to take the core one out. Because she's attack spec, you're going to do this. You're going to want the shield with the ultimate for sure, and you're going to want the mana consumption. There really isn't anything else I can think of for her that you'd want to switch because of the way she's set up. She does her core attack a lot, though, so you could technically use this one as a backup. I would take this out. Because of her first skill opening up her core attack constantly, You could technically argue that the core attack could work really well as well, but I would use that as a backup and just stick with the attack percentage just to give her more scaling. Same thing goes for GINA here. GINA is because she's attack scaling, she's unique in that sense. You might want to set up this exact same spot. Her core attack pops up very often, so this will maintain. You can take all this stuff off. Obviously, this one doesn't matter. And there you guys go. That will be the setup for GINA. And this actually will apply as well to Lim. Even though he's a breaker, he is scaling off of attack, so this is a good setup for him as well too. And his core does quite a bit of damage, so you could arguably put that there. Plus his ultimate does his ultimate like with the arrows, whenever he casts one arrow. I don't know if it counts as an ultimate every single time, but it's also viable for him because he gets it so often, right? So there you guys go. That is the setup there. Mirei, pretty straightforward. This is your backup. This is your main. It doesn't really do any better for her than this. This is for sure the best setup for Mirei. This ultimate, because she casts her ultimate so often, she's going to get that buff for crit damage, and you want to get that. She already has so much H or attack, you really don't need that extra 5% really, but it's a good backup in case you need it. So this is a really good option for her as well too. So Mirei, fantastic with that setup as well. BORA, same thing really. You want the attack though for her rather. So there you guys go. You go with that. You could technically use her core because she does rely on her core attack for the charmed effect. So you could do this as a backup as well, but realistically, you're not going to get much better than this right there for her. For Woo, let's just see Woo here. You're going to take this off completely. Actually, you know what? Before we do Woo, let me just go back to Cha for a second. Let me put Cha next instead. I think that makes more sense because she's going to run the exact same setup here. So there you guys go. This is for Cha right here. You're not really going to change much. Cha will be exactly like this as well. I think that takes care of the last one. And then lastly, we're going to save this for the best for last. And then that's Woo. You can do a couple different things with Woo. Core attack one is probably his best one because he gets his core attack very often. The shield is great for him. The mana consumption, he really doesn't have mana issues for the most part. It's not bad. I would take this out completely. These two defensive ones are pretty good. And again, you could definitely use this. I would even take the ultimate one out. It's not really that good, but that's the setup for Woo. I think that pretty much covers every single unit in the game. Just going through my list here, guys. Did we talk about Emma? I think we did, right? If not, she's the exact same as yeah, I think that covers everybody. There you guys go. I hope that kind of helps you out. Remember, stats-wise, depends what you need. It's always going to be crit rate, damage increase, defense pen. Right? Those are the three main ones. You're always going to put them in. MP consumption, of course, matters for some units. So Mirei, MP consumption is important. Kanae, MP consumption is important. Hell, Thomas, MP consumptions can be important. I use it on mine. And Cha, of course, MP consumption reduction is important. But all of this matters depending on what content you're using them for. So for a guild boss, for example, where the battle is really long, you want MP consumption reduction. For things like POD, you don't really need it that much, right? Because you're breaking arms all the time. You're constantly recovering MP all the time. There's a small little area of circumference where you can use Hansimi, for example, to recover MP. So it is important to have MP reduction for a lot of your units. But again, what you're going to choose in terms of your core stats is going to depend on the content you're doing it on. So there you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.